Breaking news, state lawmakers have just passed an historic gun law. The Empire State now has the toughest gun control laws in the entire country.
And both sides of the gun control debate are sounding off. It's our big story tonight, and we're live with team coverage. Good evening to you. The governor's signature will put these historic laws into motion.
And these laws are like none we've ever seen before. Included in this historic bill, tougher penalties, including life in prison for anyone who shoots at first responders. This is called the Webster provision, named after the Christmas Eve tragedy outside of Rochester, where 4 firefighters were shot, 2 of them killed. Also, in the wake of the Sandy Hook massacre, there will also be tougher punishments for gun crimes committed on school property. The bill also bans selling assault weapons on the internet. There's a lot more in this legislation. Let's get right to our team coverage tonight with News 4's George Rickard and Al Vaughters live from the Buffalo Gun Center tonight.
Well, this passed the Senate just before midnight, the Assembly about an hour ago, and the governor will sign it any minute. The idea, the governor said, was to avoid a run on gun sales, Al.
But that's exactly what's been happening across the state, George. As you can see in the distance behind us here at the Buffalo Gun Center, there's been line outside the door almost all day. Folks trying to get that last-minute purchase of a semi-automatic weapon and ammunition that, as of when the governor signs the bill, will become illegal.
A lot of very specific changes that will take effect this hour, and here's just some of the highlights.
Where were the public hearings? Where was the vetting process?
Governor Andrew Cuomo took the extra step to provide a message of necessity so the legislature could vote without waiting for 3 days of public comment.
I think the people of the state correctly said they want something done, and they want something done now.
Starting immediately, any gun with a military feature cannot be sold in New York State. That would include guns with pistol grips, a second hand grip, or flash suppressors, for example. 7 bullets is the new limit, and any clip that holds more cannot be sold here. Certain assault weapons that were sold before a 1994 ban now have to be registered. Up to now, a private party could sell his gun to a stranger without a background check. Now, even private party sales require a background check. Pistol permit holders in New York will now have to recertify at least every 5 years. Mental health professionals will now be required to report any patient who is considered to be a threat to himself or anyone else.
And if a mentally ill person has a gun in their home, is a registered gun owner, it will be grounds for removing the gun.
Among our local state senators, only Tim Kennedy and Mark Grisanti voted for it. Patrick Gallivan, Michael Ransenhofer, George Maziarz, and Catherine Young voted against.
It was clear something needed to be done to improve the safety of our community and our state. And we need to better protect the hardworking men and women of the state from senseless gun violence.
I don't see how this bill solves the problem. The Connecticut shooting was the impetus to this debate. But if you look at the bill doesn't even solve the Connecticut shooting.
This bill would increase the sentences for those who bring a gun on school property, and those schools that buy certain security devices can receive 10% more state building reimbursement for it. Now, the vast majority of local state lawmakers voted against this. In fact, on the Assembly, the only local lawmakers who voted for it were Crystal Peoples and Sean Ryan.